We often say education is power, but in many ways it's become something else, a currency, a status symbol. There's a certain kind of respect people give you when they find out you have a degree. It doesn't matter if you actually remember anything that you studied. But once you have the certificate, people look at you different, a little more respect, a little more nod of approval, a little bit of deference. So we've reached the point where people feel forced to get more qualifications, BSc, MSc, double masters, PhD, not because they want to learn more, but because they want to be taken seriously, because society rewards the paper and not the person. The degree is now a passport, and without it, you're invincible. In many parts of the world, especially in Nigeria, going to school is now like joining an elite club. Once you've gone to school, you've gone to the university, people assume you're better, smarter, more valuable. You may not know anything useful, but it doesn't matter because education is no longer just about learning. It's a symbol, a badge to wear. We assume that if someone didn't go to the university, they are somehow behind in terms of ability, intelligence, even character. We've confused the certificate with capability and we've made the paper more powerful than the person. And in doing so, we've turned schooling into something shallow. It's not that people don't care about learning, but the society doesn't reward learning. It rewards credentials. So even those that love to learn, they end up chasing paper because they want to survive and they want to be taken seriously. Somewhere along the line, the point of education shifted and stopped being about learning. It started being about validation. In Nigeria, education was once seen as a public good, something to uplift people, regardless of their background. And that's how we have federal universities to provide quality education that was designed to be affordable and accessible. And for a long time, that was the case. If you gained admission into universities like University of Ilorin, University of Ibadan, it was a badge of honor. It meant that you were smart, you were determined, you were deserving. But things have changed. Over time, education has started to feel more like a privilege than a right. The very schools that were built to level the playing field, they've become increasingly more expensive, which puts pressure on students and parents. And now something that was supposed to be a public service is no longer affordable. At the same time, private universities that we used to see as elite because of their facilities, their structure, their resources, they were top tier. Now they carry a different reputation. Yes, it's cost millions to attend private universities, but it doesn't necessarily come with respect. In fact, there is a general perception that students in private universities, they attend there not because of academic excellence, but because they couldn't make the cut into federal universities. People assume they have money, but not necessarily merit. So education in Nigeria today feels like a paradox. The institutions with the most credibility, the government-funded ones, now they are less accessible, and those with the right facilities and resources are questioned for their academic integrity. In the end, we've taken something that should empower everyone and turned it into a game of power, money, access. Let me tell you a secret. You know why people go to school? People don't go to school to learn. They go there to buy a future. I mean, at least that's the hope. When you pay for school, all the money, all the expenses you spend doing the 4 years, 5 years, 6 years you go to school, it's an investment. You are paying for a degree with the expectation that that degree will get you a job that will pay off the investment you've made during the amount of years you were in school. Even when people are thinking about, oh, what course should I study in school? Nobody cares about, oh, what excites me? What field do I want to master? No. Rather, the point is which course will get me the highest paying job? Which one will land me abroad? Things like that. Even if we don't say it, students constantly wonder, is this course going to be worth it? Is it going to pay back everything I'm putting into it right now? And this is why people feel defeated and frustrated and angry when they graduate and they don't get a job quickly. It feels like you're being scammed. Because in your mind, you did not just go to school. You paid for something. You're like, take money, let me get the degree. Let me get something that will get me a job that pays. But education was never supposed to be like a vending machine. You were not supposed to slot in 4 years of your life and get a paycheck in return. Education was supposed to be about expansion of your mind, of your sense of self, of your thinking. It was supposed to be about ideas, not just income. But here we are. But it's not hard to see why we are where we are right now. When education is expensive, life is hard, jobs are scarce. Who the fuck cares about learning? Learning becomes a luxury. And if you are going to learn, you're like, I must get back what I've invested. But the more we treat school like a purchase, the more empty it becomes. Because at the end of the day, you can't buy enlightenment, you can't buy curiosity, you can't buy growth. And it's not just individuals that are caught in this crazy loop. Institutions reinforce this. Employers demand for certificates. They're like, let me know, do you have a BSc? Do you have an MSc? Before they even see what you're capable of. Promotions come easier if you have another degree to top it up. Even families boast about who went further in education. They're like, my son is preparing for a master's. Oh, really? Yes, you just applied for a PhD. Now, even if you manage to get that degree, what if it doesn't lead you to the promised land? We have people who have 3 degrees and still can't find work. Even worse, they've studied for about 10 years to get a PhD, and they're not even good at what they studied. We don't talk about how many people feel empty even after collecting all the certificates. The problem is that we've mistaken the evidence of learning, which is the paper, for the experience of learning. And what is strange is that we are living in a time where learning has never been more accessible. The internet has opened doors that universities keep locked behind fees and gatekeeping. People are learning real marketable skills online. You can literally learn anything on the internet: coding, marketing, design, neuroscience. Some of the best minds in tech, business, media, they never chased degrees, they chased ideas. And yet, in many parts of the world, especially here in Nigeria, if you don't have a degree, you're not taken seriously. Nobody cares the fuck about what you can do. Do you have a certificate to back it up? That's all they need to know. This isn't an argument against formal education. I'm just trying to remind us of what education is supposed to be. It should mean something. It should grow you, challenge you, force you to think in new ways. It should help you master something that you care about. But when all we care about is the paper you get at the end, we devalue the very concept of education and we reduce human potential to a file of qualification. Guys, this is the strange culture that we've built, where degrees are valued more than the actual knowledge they are supposed to represent. People go to school now not for the knowledge, but to collect a pass into society's good graces, a pass into conversations, a pass into jobs. And the problem now is that we have a generation that is more interested in appearing educated rather than being educated. Think about this. Let me paint a scenario for you that we often see everywhere. We have someone with a prestigious degree sitting behind a desk doing a job they never expected. It's in 2 ways. They are either doing a job that has nothing to do with what they actually studied, or they know nothing about. This is what you actually studied. But even when you get that job, you still need someone to coach you through it in a week, in a month, and then you get the hang of the job. But if they could have taught you how to do that thing in a month, why the fuck did you go to school for 4 years to learn it? You did not even learn anything. Or maybe even with that prestigious degree of yours, you're sitting behind a desk and doing something you're overqualified for. You are made to do a menial task that involves pushing papers, adding and subtracting, when you could do more. This is the reality of a job obsessed with qualification rather than doing a job befitting of what you actually learned. I mean, you guys have seen it. Maybe it's even you. A graduate with a law degree working in a bank, a doctor working as a manager in a multinational company, an engineer behind a desk pushing papers in a government institution. The degree they got, I mean, it's impressive. We have a lawyer, we have an engineer, but the work they are doing doesn't align with what they studied. So what's the essence of the paper? But yet in our society, it's acceptable. Nobody bats an eye when someone with an unrelated degree is doing something that is unrelated to what they studied. Why does it not matter? Why don't people care? That's because the paper itself doesn't matter. The degree is a status symbol. It's not needed for what you learn. They don't need the degree to see what you actually learned so that they can give you a role befitting of what you learned. No, the degree is a status symbol. Do you have it? Okay, you're one of us. It tells us everything about your ability and your intelligence and your capacity. As long as you have that degree, that's okay. The work, the role, maybe it doesn't matter. But should it be this way? Should we be satisfied with this disconnect where the pursuit of higher education is more about social capital rather than preparing you for a career? The worst of it is when the job you're applying for doesn't even require a degree, but the fact that you have a degree is what gets you in. But the other person who has the qualification, who has the skills, who has the capacity, who has the experience, they are pushed aside because you don't got the paper, even though the job itself doesn't require a degree. And the problem here is that we don't see any problem with it. We've normalized it. We now believe that at least having a degree is better than having none. Kisha need degree or none. I should just have one degree. Even if you're not going to use it, you don't care about it, doesn't matter, just let me have it. So that I can show it off to people. Hey, I got one. I mean, I went to the university, I have a BSc. But consider someone who has worked hard, built experience, adopted, developed practical skills, except for them to realize that their real worth is in having a piece of paper. And the person with experience but no degree, we leave them at the bottom. We tell them, you're not qualified. We need a BSc. You're not qualified. You need to have at least a master's. The thing is that I'm not saying you shouldn't choose someone who is qualified for the role you want them to perform, but we have this narrow definition of what qualified actually means. Our own definition of qualified is the degree, is the paper. We don't ask, hey, do you have the skills? Can you show us what you can do? Can you give me, the experiences you have? I mean, people ask for experiences at job, but the degree is the entry. I need to first see the degree. Degrees are valuable, okay? They are, but they are a tool for learning. It's not the end goal. It's not a ticket. It's not a guarantee of success. It's not supposed to be the end goal. When education works the way it's supposed to, you will not need to flash your degree to prove your worth. It will show in the way you think, in the way you speak, in the way you move, in the way you live, in the way you contribute. They'll be like, yes, this person is educated based on the way you present yourself. People will be like, yeah, I don't need to see that degree, man. You move like someone is learned. Someone who's truly educated, they don't just carry the knowledge in a piece of paper. They live it. They move like it. And until we recognize the difference between paper qualification and actual qualification, we're still going to be experiencing problems in our society. Have you seen cases of people in their 30s, 40s, 50s going back to school to sit in a classroom to learn? And it's not because they want to learn more, because they're interested in learning something, but because they're tired of being looked down upon. There is a common scene I usually see. When we see someone who's successful, or at least society's meaning of successful, they have wealth, they have riches, whatever, and people are like, but you did not go to school, but you did not attend university. When people say that, they mean it in two ways. The first one is surprise, that but you did not go to school, like, how did he do it? Because they believe that success only comes when you go through formal education. And the second way they mean it is like, oh, but you not go to school, Sha. It's like they are trying to say your success is incomplete without a degree. They lost school. That's why all these people, even in their later years, they go back to school. They are like, I'm tired of being locked out of conversation and being looked down upon. So I need to go get that certificate and, lock that title in, but it's still not enough. It's never going to be enough because now having a BSc is like the standard. You need to have that at least. But even when you have that, people will be like, when are you going to start your masters now? You've not finished your masters yet. This one that you want to finish your masters. When will the PhD start? There is no end to it. Why am I going to get a master's? Why do I need a PhD? Like, tell me why. It should be something that you do because you want to do it. I'm not saying people should not pursue higher education, but they should if they want to. Now it's become some sort of social pressure. Now education doesn't really feel like an opportunity anymore. It feels like a burden. Seriously, what kind of culture are we building if people are going to school just to shut people up? Education should be about empowerment, not pressure. It should be about discovery. It should be about exploration. We go to school for years, but many people don't really learn anything. Think about it. We memorize, which is great, but actual internalized learning, that doesn't really happen in the classroom anymore. Think about it. How many times immediately you write the exams and you come out of the exam or you've forgotten everything you read because we are reading to pass, not to understand. School has taught us to associate learning with grades, with performance, assessment, with pressure. So when we finally leave school, we have this warped sense of what learning is. We think learning is boring, stressful, and we think it's only useful if it gives us a reward, like 100/100. But real learning is none of those things. Real learning is messy, it's enjoyable, it's curious. Some people discover this kind of learning after leaving school, but some people never do. They hate learning so much, they will never carry a book, they will never learn something if there is no quantifiable reward. And that is really, really sad. Learning is an experience. Schooling is a system. Don't confuse the two. Sure, there are some professions that do require formal education, like medicine, law, but honestly, there are many industries that you actually do not need to get a degree. You just need to build the skills to do it. Why are you going to 4 years in the university to learn something completely useless? Although the non traditional method of learning is gaining traction and providing more opportunities than ever, there is still a significant amount of stigma attached to it. People still see the degree as a symbol of intellectual superiority and social standing. So if you go through the non traditional route to learn something, acquire the skills, they will still look down on you because you have no degree to prove it. You didn't go to school to get a degree that people will be like, oh, yeah, let me see the degree. Or you actually have a master's in that, so you must know what you're doing. For many people, they see success as tied with degrees. When you have certain titles, or you're a professor, you're a doctor, or you're a manager in this firm, they see success tied to job positions that require degrees for you to get. Society views these things as success. But if we restrict success to something tied to the schooling system, to academic achievements, we are missing out on so much more. Because success is not a one size fits all. There is no singular definition of what success is. It's unique to each individual, shaped by their experiences. It's based on their passion, their experiences, their contribution to the world. A degree may open doors, but it doesn't guarantee happiness or fulfillment. It doesn't even guarantee a job, okay? A degree doesn't give you a sense of a sense of accomplishment, if that's what you're looking for. It can help you build your dream, but it is not the dream itself. It's not the end goal. True success lies in knowing what you want and having the courage to go for it. Learning is beautiful, but formal education has its place. We must stop treating it as the only path or as the highest path to being a valuable member of the society, as being the only path to success. We need to stop measuring people by the papers they own and start seeing them for what they're actually worth through the lens of wisdom, value, contribution, skill. The truth is, education is not something you get once. It's not like, oh, I go through this process, I get this degree, and that's it. I'm educated. Education is something you live through daily. It's not just what you know, it's how you think, how you grow, how you question. And until we redefine what education really means, until we look into it and change back to what education was supposed to mean, we'll continue to mistake paper for power, degrees for depth. Let me know down below, guys. Do you have degrees? What degrees do you have? Do you not have one? I mean, let's talk. Make sure you like the video, comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe for more content. So, until next time, my name is Mariam. Bye.